Welcome to the show.
Let's talk about Turkey.
I was going to have chocolate.
The animal?
No, we're talking about the country of Turkey. I can start it if
Turkey,
you want
the
to eat
country.
chocolate. So Turkey, I looked up a bit of history about Turkey because I'm historically challenged and I need this sort of thing. And turns out the channel Vox has great videos on stuff like this. So, did you know that the country of Turkey had a military coup last year?
Last year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you also know that it failed?
Attempted. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they didn't have one?
No, they did. It just didn't work.
Okay, they tried.
A couple of hundred people died.
Yeah.
And
So
in the
it
video
technically-
I watched, they didn't actually know who was responsible for it, but they have to know that now, right? Or they still don't know.
That's complicated.
Right. The whole thing's pretty densely
They
complicated.
found the people who were actually cooing.
right.
Cooing?
Yeah.
But
Is that
like
the term?
pigeons.
ever since then, like people have been fired, people have been put in jail, like in the thousands, who have been even slightly involved in it.
Good.
And Turkey just
Thousands of people put in jail.
yeah, like it's
From every job occupation, like teachers who are suspected of being like anti-government, everyone, thousands.
so they've ever since then they've been in a state of emergency that's been renewed 3 times. It just got renewed again, which wasn't what we're talking about, but that did just happen, right?
So there's a cleric who lives in America who the Turkish president blames for the coup.
Yeah.
He thinks he was the one who influenced everyone who did it. And so they basically, and he's like a pretty big deal, this cleric. They used to be allies, but then they had a falling out. But there's a lot of people who still follow that cleric, like, and those are the people they got with that purge. They're basically doing a purge.
Yeah.
Like the movie.
So
The
did they
Purge.
actually? So did they actually? Everyone that went to jail, were they associated or were they actually involved? Was there actual hard evidence? against
No,
them?
they're like, it's because they have a state of emergency. They don't have all the rules with like arresting people and stuff. So I think they're just like going,
Wild,
oh,
Wild
you're
West."
associated
So
with that
I
cleric.
don't like you. You're associated, and it can be anyone.
Well, yeah, it's like anyone who follows them. So, like, say anyone who's Buddhist, like it'd be like that because he's
Yeah.
sort of a religious figure.
Yeah.
He's a cleric, so it's anyone who follows his like teachings.
Yeah, and also another bit of historical context: Turkey is on the border of Syria. If you didn't know that, and they've taken the most of any country. Is that true? Like
Yeah.
refugees, I mean. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it's like the Wild West
Not
this
per
country. It
capita.
seems.
Just actual numbers?
Yeah.
Wow.
Lebanon would be the most per capita. I think
That's
they've
awesome.
only got a few million people, and they've got like 1.5 million refugees.
So you kind of like it's so weird because it seems like they're the bad guy and the good guy at the same time, which is what we're talking about, right?
How do they
So-
seem like the good guy?
Because in white helmets, they seem to be supporting the white helmets,
Yes, they
And-
support the rebels because they don't like President Assad.
right? Which is
Kashmir Assad.
that's actually kind of funny, but sorry.
So why are they in the news this week?
Why is Turkey in the news?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they had a referendum to approve a new constitution where the president gets like way more power than he
Wow.
currently has. So he's actually almost ceremonial right now. Like technically he's supposed to not be that important, but he is. But he's trying to make it so that he's constitutionally like actually meant to be important.
Do they have royalties in Turkey?
No, that's basically what the president is meant to be.
So he's like king now. He can do whatever he wants.
No, it's more. He's more like the American. Okay, so it's been like a big deal for everyone in the news because they're like, this is the start of a dictatorship. But I looked at a lot of the rule changes that he made. It's actually pretty similar to the American system now,
Okay.
the American and French
Coincidence?
systems. So like the president now gets to select his own cabinet. That used to be done by the.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
they used to be like very similar to us.
Ah.
So like he was basically their governor general, but he actually mattered and he was like kind of scary. The scary stuff he's done is like take over newspapers and stuff and make them like really pro him.
Doesn't every government?
No?
No.
Or do they?
No.
No.
Good.
Or do they?
Our papers like exclusively criticize our government.
Is it?
Yeah. Both sides. The Telegraph says that he's not right wing enough and the Herald says that he's too right wing.
There we go.
So everyone, like, imagine if those newspapers, the government showed up with police, arrested people, and then put their own people in charge of it, and then made it basically it's pro-government all the time.
So, and they're also quite closely allied with America, right?
Yeah, they're kind of playing their own game at the moment. So it's a bit of like, because they really don't like the Kurds, the Kurdish people. They they have a civil war going on. They made it illegal to speak Kurdish.
Shivers.
They like arrested a Kurdish senator just for being half Kurdish, I guess, or something like that. It's like they're making it really bad for the Kurdish people, and the Americans are using the Kurds in Syria to fight ISIS. So the Turkish don't like that from the Americans, but they do like the fact that the Americans don't like Assad. So it's a bit of like give and take. But I think a lot of the Turkish like military hardware comes from America. They have like F-16s and stuff like that.
A lot of the military stuff comes from America.
A lot of the Middle Eastern military stuff. The Saudis are bombing Yemen with American bombs.
It's almost like they won a war in the Middle East.
Some would say that, yes.
They want all the oil in the Middle East.
When you say referendum, are people voting?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a democracy still.
Yeah, no, you democratically won that, though you'd have to say if you control the media,
I see.
and all of your ministers
Yeah.
are obviously on your side.
It was
But
it was like
people-
it was almost 50-50 though, right?
They were basically going around saying if you vote no, you support terrorists. And that's a bigger claim in a country where you can just arrest someone for no reason.
So it was a vote, but
It was a vote.
you're
He won by like 51.8 to like 40.
So it's pretty close.
It was really close. So I don't think they rigged it at the ballot box, but I think the entire campaign was pretty skewed.
Right, and if the campaign was a bit more fair, he probably would have lost.
Yes.
But he won now, and now he can do anything.
No, now he's probably... They have elections. It's like a 5-year term that he gets.
Okay.
He's the head of his political party.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets to select who sits in what seats and all that sort of stuff. So basically the entire government will be like propping him up. Because everyone will have their job because of him.
But do they still have the system where it's two separate parties, or is it just one party?
There are other parties, but his party will be running with his people.
And he got rid of the
So
prime
no one,
minister.
and if
as
he
well, right?
controls the parliament, that means no one puts any check on his power.
Oh wow! So he can, like, I'm trying to compare it to like American and Australian system, but basically he can pass any law he likes.
Yeah. So okay, it's similar to the American system. So I guess I can talk about how it's different from that. It will be similar in that like he gets now to select the panels on this judicial panel that gets to select judges.
Right.
Donald Trump gets to pick the Supreme Court nominees and federal court judges. He actually does get to select that. But it has to go through the Senate. So the Senate gets to put a check on it. Donald Trump doesn't get to select who runs for a seat in the Senate or who runs for a seat in the lower house. Right? That gets done by the people because they have to vote in a primary, right, to see who runs. It's the same here. Like the Malcolm Turnbull doesn't get to select who runs in a seat.
Yeah.
The party itself decides, and it's based on a vote. He could just select who he wants.
Wow. Okay.
So that makes it like everyone who's working there is basically working for him. That's where it gets like tricky. So I feel like he's going on like this slow path towards like being a dictator, but he's taking it easy. So this first step isn't like that crazy, but it gives him a lot of the power to then make further steps. So at the moment he'll probably be in power till 2029 because he gets 2 5-year terms, and his first election is in 2019.
Oh, so he's actually not. He hasn't been elected.
He won the last election, but now that there's a new constitution, that rule on 2 terms starts at the next election.
And
The
on
2
his
5-year terms is their limit.
on his 9th year, could he change another constitution? And
I
have
think
another
by
vote?
then he'll have 2 elections under his belt, and he'll have basically selected everyone he wants in the parliament.
Wow.
So he'll probably do something to make it so he can stay in power.
As a comparison that's super interesting, isn't this actually how the Kim Jong dynasty kind of started?
Is it? I'm not sure about that
I
actually.
don't think so.
That would have started during the Korean War, and
Yeah,
that would have been
right.
a different context. It's probably closer to how Putin's staying in power.
Right.
How is he?
You could look at Ye Chan for...
He knows about Korea. That is the
He
one thing
actually
he
does
knows
know
about.
stuff about Korea.
I am Korean, so
But he also says the first thing that comes to his head, whether it's the answer or not.
that's what Korean people do.
He has
We will
vague
nuke
ideas.
everybody.
Will he?
Huh? No, that's what Korean people say.
First thing that came to his head.
All of them.
Yeah. So this is pretty nuts. But do you think anyone's going to intervene in terms of other countries?
There's no
in
oil
Turkey?
there, is
No, you can't because it was democratic.
Right.
Like, what can you do?
The people voted, mate.
So he's doing it so intelligently. There's really
Give the people what they want.
Yeah, in a country the size of Turkey, it's not like other countries could really do much anyway.
Right.
Europe has no leverage because Turkey is the only reason there isn't more refugees coming into Europe. They made a deal so that they could block that border. Before, that was how most of the refugees 2 years ago got to Germany, about 1 million of them.
Just nip through
Last
Turkey.
year it was like 200,000. So the reason it's gone down is because of this deal they made with Turkey. So Turkey has like a wave of refugees as like almost like a political weapon.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Pretty crazy.
Does that, like, they're going to get the biggest influx of refugees? Is that going to turn them into like a superpower or something? Or is that not even...
I don't think that's how refugees work.
Right.
I mean, I'm pretty pro-refugee, but I don't think they make you a superpower.
Well, I know, but like, what if their economy just takes off in a crazy way because they've got so many people?
I reckon if you take a whole bunch of people from another country, give them jobs, and then your country thrives, then that... if you become a superpower,
Yeah,
right?
they-
Do that with the rest of the world.
They'll get more powerful. I think that's
That's a
This president, what's his name?
President Tayyip Erdogan.
What's he like? He's a nice guy?
He's got like a small man complex. Like he's building a big palace to himself. He's really easy to offend. It's like really easy to find clips of people offending him just because it's funny to offend him. But I guess it's less funny if you live in Turkey.
And he has the power to get you killed.
Yeah, but everywhere else, everyone just makes fun of him because he's like, it's like, so
Because
this
they're
a German comedian made fun of him, and then
He died?
No, I think Turkey was trying to get Germany to put him in jail for it
Yeah, good.
because Germany used to have a
think I heard
rule.
about
They
that.
used to have a law where like you couldn't offend a foreign
Diplomat.
foreign head of state. I think it was something
Hey,
like
I
that.
see no issue in that. If somebody was making fun of my leader, I'd be offended. I'd be like, screw that guy, put him in jail.
They make fun of our
In
leaders all
another
the time.
country though,
Huh?
that'd be like you make fun of Kim Jong-un
Yeah.
and then North Korea requests that Australia arrests you and put you in an Australian prison.
Well, I'm not Australian, so technically.
You can still get in trouble for Australian
But yes,
by
like,
Australian law.
okay, so as an
You're
Australian,
not like immune to the law here.
as an Australian, if all the Americans started making fun of Malcolm Turnbull, you'd be like, stop making fun of our leader.
No,
I
I don't think
We're
anyone would agree with
Australian.
that.
We
You
should
guys,
share
have
it.
no, you guys have no patriotism.
John
Have
Oliver,
you seen this one? Share.
John Oliver did a bit about Tony Abbott, and everyone on Facebook was sharing it.
Maybe that is what is wrong with this country.
No,
It's not that we're being led
No, it's not.
badly, it's because we don't support them in their decisions.
I am pro supporting the guy in charge.
yeah, typical, right?
What if that guy in charge meant that you got deported from Australia?
Well, I'm getting close to it, so.
Yeah, what visa?
I
are
mean,
you on?
but it doesn't,
Spoiler alert. Guys, far.
when I say supporting the leader, I mean like support the leader of your country. For me, like Australia is not my country.
Okay, I got a bit offended
So-
when Donald Trump was really rude to Malcolm Turnbull on the phone because I was like, "That's
Yeah, exactly.
dumb,"
We talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah, but that's different from a private citizen making a joke.
Yeah.
I guess
You can't
it's
infringe
a similar-
on another country's people's freedom of speech. It was
I'm not
disrespectful
saying-
for the head of state to do that.
Yeah, but I'm not saying
just a guy.
I'm not saying you should arrest him. I'm saying that feeling of don't offend my leader. Like he's still ours.
It was him doing it. It's don't offend me. It's
Yeah,
not
but I'm
don't offend
saying-
my leader.
I'm saying the
It's
people
him.
should still feel like they should defend
But
their
that's
leader.
irrelevant.
Like same
He
thing
was
with
the
you.
one who was
when
doing
Trump
it.
was rude to Malcolm Turnbull. Like you had that feeling of don't like.
Okay, but
he's
what
our
does
leader.
it tell you about a president who gets offended by a comedian in another country? What does it tell you about his psychology?
No, I'm not talking about the president. I'm talking
But
about.
it's the president that we're talking about. He
Yeah,
asked
but
what
what I-
kind of. You asked what kind of person he is.
yeah.
I'm telling you about the kind of person he is. What does it matter what the
So
people
I
thought?
think the biggest point here is if the president's got enough time to look at YouTube clips of another country of some, maybe they're not doing their job properly.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I'll just like to watch a few hours of YouTube before I go to bed. Or what about the refugee crisis? It'll take care of itself.
It's
so dumb.
I sincerely disagree with that statement, but anyways.
But you keep bringing up the people, and that doesn't make sense.
No, the only point I was trying to make was when people make fun of your leader, like it's right that you should feel offended.
Okay, but that's
Who's your
irrelevant
leader,
to
Ye-Chan?
what we're discussing.
Who's your leader?
Kim Jong Un.
People made fun of him all the time.
At the moment, we don't have
don't have a leader.
We don't
I
have a
was about to
president.
say.
Yeah, we're about to go into an election.
Your president's
so-
been impeached.
Yep.
Which that election's probably like about to happen, isn't it?
I think it's in like 2 weeks.
Shivers. You gonna vote? Hey?
I don't know. I think you can do it online. I'm thinking about it.
Well, I hope so.
Are they blocked?
Yeah,
Is
I
the
think you
internet
can.
blocked for that?
Wow.
That's
Actually,
South
no.
Korea.
I have to.
It's not
I think I have to go to the embassy and cast my ballot.
Right.
Like
That sounds.
Yeah, and it's in the city, so stuff
And
like
you
that.
probably have to do it before the election.
Yeah, I'm
so
not
they
driving
can
half an
count
hour to the city to do
Is
that.
there any more about Turkey?
it. I think we've seen the birth of a new dictator.
Which is crazy.
Wow.
We're usually seeing them fall, but this time
Seeing them
the other way.
rise. Good on you.
So, guys,